Hi friends, host Eric, host of Talking with Many People, here with Rachel, my partner in life and Talking with Many People as well, to talk about Club ENTP's video. So, the feedback, I haven't watched any of it, but, and I didn't really care. It was all just, people would say whatever the guy said. None of it really stuck at all to me, and when I'm discussing the stuff in the live stream last night. But Rachel came out this morning. She actually was rather bothered by some stuff that she saw in that video, or was said about her, specifically that he tried to, I guess, portray her as some kind of pushed around servant or something.
Yes, that's how it was portrayed.
So the thing is, because it's a very unfair and inaccurate portrayal of things, and yet still has some kind of resonance, right? Because I can see how, because I'm the extrovert, and I'm always bullying through, and maybe like reading over here in the chat, and then Rachel starts to talk, and then I go, no, blah, 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 and like talk right over her. Those things do happen. People may misconstrue the nature of our relationship entirely. It's conceivable. I don't think generally it happens. If you spend any time watching the channel and watching us interact with each other, I don't think you're gonna be, and unless you come in wanting to find something to hate, right? Wanting to find something to use as ammunition, you're not going to conclude that whatever potentially surface similarities in appearance certain aspects of our relationship may have to an unequal relationship, ours is not one.
I'm not a doormat. I willfully, I think that, making coffee or a bowl of something for dinner for Eric is doing something nice and being in a partnership.
And she's right, it helps a lot. Yeah, it's like when food appears, it's fantastic. But note that I generally don't say to myself, oh, maybe ask Rachel to do meow. I generally, in any circumstance, say to myself, if you're going to ask Rachel to do meow, she's just going to say, well, why can't you do meow? And so then I just do meow. That's my line of thinking, right? Maybe I could get Rachel to meow. Well, then why wouldn't she just say, well, why don't you do meow? And then what would I say? Well, I wouldn't know what I'd say, so I should just go do meow. Right? That's my line of thinking almost every single time. And so if I think about it at all to even ask her, it rarely occurs, because I'm FE third and I'm TE 6th, which means I'm more likely to engage in reality by trying to figure something out myself, even when I should use the wisdom of others or something, because FE is selfish and I'm only really attending by a certain subsections of FE, But the point is, if you aim at the right spot, it is possible with your words to get under somebody's skin, hurt their feelings, or even potentially cause them to have an epistemological struggle on their hands. Because what Rachel said this morning was not just that, basically that hearing this false portrayal of her made her worry that she's perceived like that, but rather made her worry about whether things actually are like that.
Yeah.
Which is super unconscious SI, because our experience bears no resemblance to that whatsoever.
No, it's not. It's not. But it did hit my SI because I don't like to be criticized about my daily habits. I really don't like it. And so even though Club ENTP's thing was pretty like it was a depiction of us dumbed down, and it was meant to. I don't know what it was meant to do. Whether it was meant to make us laugh or whether it was made to get under our skin. It successfully did get under mine, especially because like I stay out of the Club ENTP club when it comes to arguments. I didn't say a thing, and then me, Winston's mom was dragged in. Like it was just like I feel petty, and I don't like being judged on my SI. It pisses me off.
That's interesting because when I was saying to you earlier before we started this video that he's pushing on your SI, I was thinking about it from the other direction. But in other words, he's requiring of you to contradict his NI for you to generate SI to contradict it, which is a very NE frame, an action type's frame of reference for the whole situation versus a receiving type's frame of reference for the whole situation. It's interesting. But of course you're right. What he's doing is he's critiquing your daily habits and making meaning out of them that isn't real meaning. But because you can use those materials, like he's saying, like, well, here's some lumber, here's some nails, and here's a hammer, and here's some work doing, and see, you're a giant wooden penis. Well, yeah, if you build the lumber into that shape, you can kind of make it look like a penis if you're not too worried about roundness. But that doesn't mean that those pieces of lumber right there and those nails and that hammer are suggestive that there's a penis in Rachel's yard, Until he built it and put it there, there's no such penis. And anybody who looks at the penis will realize that's not, Rachel didn't do that. That's some idiot came and tried to build a penis in her yard and say, see, I told you she's a man. But that's not, it won't work for anybody who's looking at us objectively or fairly or honestly. I'm not bossy.
No, not at all.
And I don't have a lot of expectations that Rachel meow.
Right, and I think that's no, and that's the thing too. Like, you ask so minimally of stuff from me that, like.
I think there is, from what I gather, basically what she's reacting to is like a couple of specific things that he said. One, I'm Rachel, I just go along with whatever Eric says. Which, Rachel and I, as I said from the very outset, I've always been kind of on the same page about shit. Naturally, as a person who's saying more things, I'm going to be expressing them. As a person who receives and knows about things, she's going to be hearing and knowing about what I'm saying as our default means of approaching matters. The fact that we're in agreement is consistent with the fact that from the same day one, we're really on the same page about a lot of shit, super on the same page. That's why there's never any conflict between us. And even when one of us gets fussy and acts out because of whatever reason, as happens occasionally, the other one doesn't escalate. There's no escalation.
No,
there's always a flattening out of discord into a return to tranquility in the relationship.
Yeah.
It seems like it's like trying to start a fire in a wet forest. Impossible. It's like there's no dry enough fuel somehow to ignite real anger between us. It almost never happens.
No, and which is nice because it's not necessarily the case for people around us. We might, be fighty with other people, but we aren't with each other.
Yeah, exactly. But in general, I'm triggerable into anger if I think that there's, in a lot of different ways. But the way that she is, it just doesn't trigger any anger. It just triggers like, huh. What's going on here?
Kind of, yeah, it can't. And sometimes it's even embarrassing. Like, I do believe that my INFJ, like, perfectionist ways makes me want to never get angry. So, like, my anger will come out, like, over, like, minuscule things that don't have to do with anything. It could just be that I'm not tending to my SI. Meaning not like eating or sleeping, and then I get fussy and I get cranky and I'll go on a rant about something, but it's never like I'm not criticizing Eric or
It's just she likes to rant about things that are near me.
yeah, it's so weird, but yes, that's how it goes more.
She's mad. She's not afraid to play dangerously with this thing nearby. And who knows? She might drop it over here onto my thing.
Oh, it's so embarrassing.
and I go, what is she doing?
But yeah.
But the point is, I also have my moments of failure, and what happens in those moments of failure is and I don't process it until after my moments of failure, because in my moments of failure, I'm all caught up in mine, whatever that means. And what happens is in her eyes there's a sad, like, well, just got to let this run its course.
Yeah, I do, but I feel that's the best way to deal with it, is to let it run its course.
And oddly, for me, because what's happening before me is number one, strikingly rare, and also out of character from the way Rachel her normal affects and stuff, and also because the things she is saying, that she's ranting about, are so odd. Like, she's chosen something entirely for how it fits FE positioning wise with the person she's talking to, which is me, and not for any other reason. So to my ears, it all sounds like, why are you ranting about public transportation in Japan?
Oh my gosh. It just happened to be. It just happened to be my line of target.
Do you really feel that strong?
I don't. I really don't. It just, those are that's my version of the Miaz.
I know, but
and Club ENTP successfully got me to Miaz to you by representing me as something that I'm not.
And as we both described it, by hitting you in your SI, your 8th slot, where people get defensive.
Yeah.
So anyway, it is the case that unrelated to this Club ENTP stuff, Rachel and I did have Rachel had a little tantrumy moment yesterday, which she hadn't had in a long time. And that's what we're referencing to the Japan stuff is it's that. But regardless, so this is how you respond when somebody's got under your skin or hurt your feelings, or you feel attacked. This is how to make a video when that happens. From what I understand, Club ENTP did comedy about me, Rachel, other community members, that was basically, it played out as him just saying mean things about people because it wasn't funny. And the thing is, you can hide behind comedy as an excuse for saying something you wouldn't normally say. It's absolutely true, you can't hide behind that. But only if it's funny. And the funnier it is, the more you can hide behind that. And if it's not funny, then it's just a farce, right? It's like, this isn't, you're not doing comedy, you're just being mean because you're butthurt. And I don't care if people are mean to me, because I'm not going to watch the stupid video anyway. I don't watch 1 second of it. But I don't like people being mean to Rachel. Now, granted, I can't completely control that because we are public figures on the channel and people are free to comment on it. But instead, what we do is, we do the civilized way of restoring equilibrium. I said, look, I have to make a video. We have to make a video now, Rachel, because after we start talking about it, and we present the actual reality to everybody. So instead of getting bullshit, instead of me making a video now where I make fun of him or whatever, because he successfully hurt Rachel's feelings and got under her skin and actually caused her to question reality, like basically get
I really did feel, I'm like, oh my gosh, do people perceive me as a doormat? Like, I am...
Even worse, you were like, oh my gosh, am I one?
Yeah.
With Eric.
I had to ask Eric, am I your servant? Like, oh my god, it really did bother me. It bothered me more than I realized, and I'm glad that Eric let me vent about it.
Let you. This is the thing. She'll tend to phrase things like that for FE reasons. Okay?
It is FE.
So she's saying it like that because she doesn't want to come across as presumptuous, even though the point of this video is it's not presumptuous for her to do that at all. But because she always plays this FE defense thing, and that was, if you heard, that was what really offended her, was, in some part, was that she had successfully prevented this by not committing any fouls. How could the referee be calling how can she be getting tackled? She's not in the game, right?
Yeah.
She successfully prevented this by making sure she stayed on the bench.
Yeah.
How can this person now be tackling her when she avoided anything that could have made her a legitimate thing to tackle, is what she's thinking, right? Well, sometimes FE defense doesn't, proactive FE defense doesn't matter because that guy is looking to get to me, and while he unsuccessfully got to me through me, he did successfully get to me through you. So now it's like, okay, well, even though I haven't even watched this video, now we have to make a video about how to respond when you are feeling butthurt and threatened or whatever. It's like when you're feeling like you're attacked. Like, so Club ENTP says he feels like he was attacked by me, or he says I did attack him. What it really means is he feels attacked. And I can understand why he would feel attacked in that I've expressly said, like, I don't like his media, I don't think he's funny, I don't personally consume stuff he makes because I find it that I have said those things, but that's a good reason to be hurt, not a good reason to think you've been attacked. Because those matters came up as relevant to an interaction that was initiated by him, pushed through by him for a long time, purportedly set up with this intentional deception, which is like, that's not better than you just failed, bro. Anyway, but the point is, if I lost my train of thought. I don't know what I was going to say. Rachel's not in any way, shape, or form.
I was bumhurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just wanted to, talk about it.
And the point is, this is how healthy people do this. And I'll add this on the end of this video briefly, and maybe make a separate video about it later. But I've been thinking about it a lot, the people around my channel, there doesn't seem to be a super strong type correlation. They're like, I get all kinds of different types around the channel, but the one thing that they all seem to have in common is they aren't in conflict with themselves.
Yeah, they'll stick around, exactly.
In other words, they're confident in their own, comfortable and confident enough in their own skin that they're okay with me being comfortable and confident in my own skin, and with Rachel being comfortable and confident in her own skin. The thing is, Rachel will afford somebody who's looking to attack, who's actually attacking, ammunition because she's FE Tool. You can always attack an FE Tool person as being a pushover, as being a people pleaser. There are various terms you can always bust out to attack such a person with, and they'll always feel somewhat susceptible to those kind of attacks, because the alternative is to be susceptible to attacks of you're rude, you're inconsiderate, you're mean, you're not nice, or you're like socially tone deaf or whatever. So you can't have it. You can't have everything. You can't successfully avoid legitimate critiques without at the same time making yourself vulnerable to this particular kind of illegitimate critique, right? So anyway, what makes a commonality among people around talking with famous people is they don't seem to generally have to lie to themselves or be in the process of lying to themselves. And the people who just cannot stand me seem to be in the process of lying to themselves.